And we're here today in lovely Brixham with Katrina, who is one of the distillers of Tattered Sails and Red Sails Brixham Gin. So we're here in the distillery, which is an old sail loft, am I right, Katrina?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and it's absolutely fantastic, and we'll show you some pictures of it in a while. So firstly, thank you for having us, Katrina, here.
It's a pleasure.
And it's lovely to come and have a look around your lovely distillery and be stood next to this fantastic contraption that we'll talk about in a moment. But firstly, gin.
Yes.
How did you get here?
Well, we're often asked this, Liz and I, my partner. It started as, wouldn't it be great if we could work with gin? And then wouldn't it be great if we could have our own gin? And it actually happened. We were both fed up with the jobs that we had. And I said to Liz, I tell you what, if the company Brixham Gin is available, we'll do it. And it was. So we did.
Great. Fantastic. So literally it was hanging on the name, was it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We thought Brixham Gin,
Yeah.
that's got to be a goer,
Yeah.
Brixham Gin.
Fantastic.
And then we decided to learn about gin.
Right.
So that took us probably a year to sort of read books, do courses, find out about the still, and find the premises, because we wanted to be in Brixham. We didn't want to call ourselves Brixham Gin and be in Paynton or you know, and that does happen.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't be more in Brixham,
No,
because you look out the
no.
window at the harbour, literally, don't we? It's a
Yeah.
fantastic spot.
But commercial property in Brixham is quite hard to come by. So yeah, it took a long time to find somewhere that was suitable.
Yeah.
And that was how we started, really.
Fantastic.
Just
And
buying the name.
Great. And your first distillation run occurred?
But the still was installed in June last year, and our first gin ready for sale was in September.
Fantastic. And it's a fantastic still, and you've just told us that she's called Gin Genie,
She is.
which is very
She is.
appropriate.
I think the name came because it was a Genio still, and for that reason the song Gin,
Yeah.
Gin Genie kept going through my head.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, that's what she is. She sits in the corner and she magically makes us gin. So
Fantastic.
the name stuck.
Right. And it's a very, very clever still, isn't it? It's a clean pot.
Yeah.
With a vapour infusion stack.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you vapour infuse all your botanicals.
All of them,
in
yeah.
both the red cells and the tattered cells.
Yeah.
And we can see you've just told us you've just finished a run.
Yeah.
And we can still see the botanicals in the stack here.
That's the order we always put them in.
And the order, yeah. So you've interestingly got you've got copper springs in here.
That's right.
To create your copper element.
That's it.
To,
because that gives you the same sort of surface area as if the inside of the pot was
still.
a copper. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Very, very clever. Very, very clever. And then the botanicals, of course, some juniper, and you've got four citrus elements.
citrus, yeah.
You told us.
That's right.
And some orris.
Yeah.
And
we've got the big four in
the
there.
big
So
four
in
in
here
there.
we've got juniper and coriander.
Oh, that's right. You've got your coriander in with your
Yeah.
juniper.
And then in here we've got orris and angelica, which makes gin basically.
Yes.
But then in there we've also got hard things like chestnut wood and cinnamon.
Very interesting. Chestnut wood. That's a first. and this is the run for red sails, yeah?
This is red
This
sails.
is red
yeah.
sails.
Yeah.
And red sails, well, and tatter sails as well, are London dry.
They are London dry.
In production method.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here they are on the table. We have a bottle of each here. And red sails very much in the London dry style. The botanicals are very classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, aren't they?
Yeah, there's nothing of shock.
No,
anyone
no
in there.
shock botanicals in there at all, but just a very good classic gin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased with it. We went for something because I like a sipping gin.
Yes.
And my friend likes a sweet drink.
Right.
So she likes a tonic or a lemonade in hers. So, but we wanted something that I could drink just with ice or with water. So I was happy with it, but then we had to get other people in to make sure that it was actually gin, because when you've made so many, you can't tell. You forget what it smells like.
So you had the tasting crowd into...
we did. We got about 100 people. We put it on Facebook and said, we've made a gin, we think it's right, can you come and have a try? And we got 100 people through the door.
That's a great
which was
idea.
just from Facebook is pretty good.
And this was the menu that
They all
won
liked
the day.
it. They all liked it, yeah.
Fantastic.
So it was super.
Yeah, and then you went on to create Tattered Sails.
Yes, we worked with a brewery called Wild Weather. They're from Reading. But the head brewer actually went to school in Brixham, so that's the connection. So as soon as I got a still, he wanted to come and have a play with it. So we made tattered sails with them, and then we went there and made an IPA inspired by gin.
Yes.
Up there, and they called that Infinite Genies.
Fantastic.
So a nod to our still,
oh, what a great little mix and match.
Yeah, so that was a very nice IPA.
Yeah, yeah. And you just told us that your Tattered Sails has bergamot as one of the. Is it bergamot or pomelo?
It's bergamot lemon.
Bergamot lemon.
And pomelo.
And pomelo.
And citrus smelling hops, which are these.
Citrus smelling hops. Is this a particular variety?
Yeah, they're citra hops.
Citra. Oh, they are too, aren't they? Yes. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, a bit powerful,
yes.
but because they were such a powerful smell, we decided that we'd double the juniper in the tattered, and that
sort of balances it.
It did work.
Yeah,
it did work.
And the other thing you've just told us is that you only have 8 bottles of Tattered Sails left. Is that right?
We do, because it is a seasonal one. We didn't realise at the time, but bergamots and pomelo are actually a seasonal fruit, so we've got 8 bottles left.
You're waiting for the next harvest.
We are. November we will be in production again.
Oh, right. Well, you've got to make 8 bottles last quite a long time. Then we might take a few back knowing that now, because we've got to keep them on the shelf. We've got them in the shop. They're great. Classic gins, red sails, classic taste.
Yeah.
And Tattered Sails with that little element, extra element. Citrusy, a little bit smoky, a little bit, yeah. So, really nice gins. And where next for Brixham? Are you planning more gins, or will this do you for the while now?
I think these two for a little while. We're doing I've just put on a load of or a run of slow gin. But that's kind of an experiment, really. So it's only going to be 90 bottles, just to see how it works.
It's slow season, isn't it? So it'd be rude not to.
But we'll have to send that away for testing, because obviously you can't test a liqueur, a coloured drink, with our equipment. So that'll have to go to the lab, which will slow it down. I'm hoping to get it out for Christmas,
really?
but interesting though.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So we've just done our slow picking at home. So has it been a good season here in Brixham for slow?
No, terrible.
Really.
But fortunately, I had someone that had an organic farm that that would let me have £10 or 4.5 kilos. Is that?
Because slows are never a.
They weren't such. It's not such a good year.
No, ours were quite small. We've certainly had better seasons for slow, but at least we've got some.
And the wild ones here, there's nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
So no, but fortunately I knew someone that could supply me.
Right. So there we go. Red Sails Gin, Tattered Sails Gin, from the wonderful Brixham.
Thank you.
From your lovely distillery, and we are surrounded here by bottles and boxes and tubs of beautiful gin. So are these are gins resting? Are they in the tubs?
These ones over here are resting.
Right.
These are waiting to be either rectified. The heads and tails have got to go through again.
Yeah.
That's my mixing pot. That's the other thing. When gin comes off, it lays in layers. You wouldn't expect it. But you can't test it until you've put it into an open top and given it a good mix.
Right.
Because otherwise the layers.
How long do you rest before you bottle then?
It tends to be about a week.
Right. Okay. Just
to make sure that
and then you cut it back with, you say, French spring water.
French spring water at the moment.
To 42. 42 yours are, aren't they? Yeah. Which is perfect for a good gin. It's enough.
Yeah. Then you put ice in it, and it's more or less drinkable.
Right. And you still keep a decent spirit in there.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Right. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for showing around the distillery. Thank you for showing Gene Genie to us. So I know it's very clever, because one thing I didn't mention is you say it automatically cuts the heads and tails for you.
It does. Yeah. It's got heads and tails.
It's got a brain.
It's got a very clever brain. Brain's down here.
Yeah. Yeah. But that is clever.
takes a lot of the worry out, especially the heads. And buying in alcohol, there's probably not much to worry about with the methanol, but you still have to take
got to be got to be careful.
The first 100 mils, you don't want to send anyone blind, do you?
So it's been great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming.
And we'll come and visit again very shortly. Thanks, Katrina. Thank you.
Okay.
You happy?